by cropping the image to get rid of the distractions on the right hand side. Let's take a square crop like that, looks good. Select that. Now let's go to the camera raw filter to look at all of the other settings. Histogram is a bit skewed to the left. Let's press auto first. Really makes a significant improvement. Let's pull down the whites even further because they're distracting. It's a very textural picture, so let's take the texture up a bit. Let's also dehaze it a little bit, not that much. That looks good, so let's select that. Let's now go back into the crop tool and straighten it up a bit. So we don't want it so much over on the curve. That's probably quite a little bit further, I think. Not that far, that'll do. Select that. Now let's use the lasso tool to deal with this very bright area immediately above his head. Let's go and fill that in with something similar from nearby. So to content aware fill, we use the sampling brush. Let's pick that area there. The preview shows us that it's going to fill it in very nicely. So that's that bit done. Let's now deselect that area and then deal with this trickier issue of the very bright areas on this side of his hand. Let's highlight all of those. Let's keep picking them up one after another. Let's go to the plus tool, just add a few more areas in. That area there, that area there, and that area there. There's probably some other bits we've missed, but this will give you the general idea. So let's now expand that so that we don't miss any of it. So go to modify, expand. Let's expand it by 10 pixels. Let's now feather that so we don't get a harsh edge. Let's feather it by 20 pixels. That's there. Now let's select a new layer and adjust the brightness. So brightness and contrast. So OK, and now let's pull the brightness down a lot in that area. That's probably about as much as we're going to get away with. And now let's save that as a new image. And that's that done. Okay, so I'm going to edit one of these images in Snapseed. So I've opened Snapseed on my phone. I'm now pressed open. Go to open from device, go into the album. These are the recent images. So let's select this image. So the first thing you can do is look at the tuning of the image. So I've gone into that. I'm going to select auto tune. So you can see that's increased the brightness, it's increased the contrast. I'm going to increase the saturation a bit. It's also could do with a bit more depth in the ambience, and it's made it slightly cooler. That all seems fine. I'm now going to look at whether or not anything should be cropped.
and I think probably not. I think it's possibly a little bit at the big bottom here, just to give it slightly better proportions for the cow. Let's now look at whether or not it could do with anything in high definition. I don't think so. I think it's all... no, that's not going to make any difference, but a glamour glow I think almost certainly would. So let's give it, say, about 30 on the glamour glow. We could now vignette it a touch so that we don't want to vignette the cow too much, so let's take that down to about -70. I think that will be plenty. And I think we could also give it a little bit of a frame. I think a white frame will look good on this picture, so let's go for quite a simple white frame. I think it's quite a narrow one. Let's go to there, about -30. I think that's probably improved it pretty well. We could, I guess, just make the cow a little bit brighter. So let's up the brightness on the cow, and let's up the saturation a little bit as well, and the structure. There we go, and then let's export it to keep a copy. And there we are.
The raw file. I'm going to convert it to black and white, and then I'm going to use the auto resets, and then let's make some adjustments to this to make it a more dramatic picture. So upping the contrast a bit, up the whites a bit, pull the blacks down further, add some texture, take off some clarity, dehaze it a bit. I think that's probably good to go, so let's open that file. Taking a minute or two, we'll get there. Okay, so first thing to do is to crop it, to get rid of this hand at the front. So I'm going to pull this corner right in to there, I think. A little bit further out. I want to get the end of the spectacles in, but not much more. That's still too far. That's it. And now we need to deal with these bright areas. So let's pick up the spot healing tool and deal with that one first, and with that one, and then with this one, and then with this one, just a most difficult one, and then with this one. Needs a little bit more. And then this is the hardest one to deal with because it's got quite a haze on it, and I think the spot healing tool is going to keep a blur, but let's see what happens. And I think that's probably all right. It's not perfect. I think I might just clone in a little bit of the edge of the spectacles so that we get more of a defined line around here. That will do. It's not perfect, but it gives you the idea. I'm now going to go back into the camera raw filter, and I'm going to add a vignette to focus in. So you do that in the effects menu and add The vignette don't need to be quite that much, probably about 25, and I think a bit of grain would also help this image. And so there we are, let's save that. Done. So this is the original image. There's no information in the file as to what it was taken on. It is quite a large image. It's 4,500 pixels at 72 pixels per inch, makes it quite hard to edit. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to resize it. So let's go to image size and let's lock the resolution there. That's fine. You can see it's 62 inches, so it's massive. So let's make it 300 pixels per inch first off. And let's put this into centimeters and let's make it 35 centimeters. So I've got a much more manageable file. Second thing I'm going to do, as evident from the previous slide, is I'm going to crop it. Not quite that far there, and that's that. And then bring this side in as well. Not as far as that. Say to about there, I think. And now I'm going to edit that image so that we can get a much stronger picture. First thing I'm going to do is to go into Camera Raw. In fact, I'm probably going to make all the changes pretty much that need to be made in the Camera Raw filter. So let's first of all go to Auto, which has already improved the color balance quite a lot. And let's go to the color balance. I'm going to take the exposure down a little bit so that you get the light coming through the wings. I'm going to take the texture up a bit, and I'm going to take the clarity up a little bit, and I'm going to dehaze it a little bit, like that. Already got nice vibrance. I'm now going to do a little bit of sharpening and noise reduction. So let's take the noise reduction up to 40, and let's take the color noise reduction similarly up to about 40. So we get a bit more precision on there. I'm now going to have a little play with the colors because we want the butterfly to stand out more. So I think if we adjust the yellow and the green, we can get a nice brighter colour on there. And if we reduce the red a little and reduce the orange a tad, we can make the leaves not stand out quite as much. I'm now going to go into the vignette and put quite a strong vignette on it because we don't want the light around the outside to distract from the butterfly. And let's say OK to that. I'm actually now going to take this bright area here down a little bit because I think that's quite distracting. In fact, I think I might crop it a bit on that side, so I'm going to go out of the ratio and just crop it freely. So I think we can lose some of that. In fact, we can lose all of that. That would save us a problem there. And then let's put a key line around the outside because it's very dark. So let's go to image, image size. We now need to make the image a bit bigger again. I'm going to make it 25 centimeters. And now I'm going to put a key line on it. So I'm going to go to canvas size. I'm going to go to pixels. I'm going to put a 5 pixel key line on it. So make that 8. Make that 9.7. And then I'm going to go to other. And I'm going to pick up the colour of the butterfly wing. And I'm going to say OK to that. And now let's save that image. And there we are, we're done with that image.